stock market today. Analysis for October 6th, 2022. The Nasdaq was down just a little bit, 0.68%. S&P 500 down 1.03%. U.S. Treasury yield up 6.4 basis points. Gold up just a little bit, 0.11%. Bitcoin down even just a little bit less, 0.06%. Oil up 1.48%. You guys probably have been noticing that maybe for the last, I don't know how long that it's been that you've been noticing it, but the news is kind of really filled with some negative stuff. Let's take a quick browse through here. U.S. weekly jobless claims increase more than expected. Gasoline prices are climbing again. The UK at risk of major credit ratings downgrade. Some stuff that's not on here. Some sort of gas pipeline blowing up that was way down at the bottom of the sea, not easily accessed. Had to be some superpower type country with submarines to get down there. There's war going on in the Ukraine. There's actually war going on, as far as I know, in Yemen that's never talked about. There's people dying all over. There's prices raising all over. Things are going bonkers. What can you do? Well, one thing you could do is you could know that earnings reports are coming up. We're going into earnings season, and if you are particularly trading a stock or you want to do some earnings trades, here's an easy way you can find out who's reporting, when, but just keep in mind, it could always kind of change. So you're going to go to finance.yahoo.com, go to markets, calendars. Bam, look at this. Here we go. So today, we had some different earnings. And it'll show you the stock splits. It'll show you all this different stuff. So click through that. Yahoo Finance is a wealth of resource, and for the most part, it's free. So have fun with it. Now, as far as the MMRI goes, what did it end up today? Okay, closed at 266.7, which yesterday it closed at 259 something, so up just a little bit. Of course, it had been going down. So to pay attention to these small fluctuations in it may or may not be of value. But take a look at this. Since I started graphing this at August 29th, we were already in the high range, which is 200 to 300, and we were in the low 200s, and now we're just keep creeping up towards this high range, extreme range of risk, right? We're in the high, creeping up towards extreme. What can we say? What can you say? There's a bunch of crappy stuff going on, and I still got a smile on my face. Hopefully you can keep a smile on your face. A component of that MMRI risk indicator is the 10-year U.S. Treasury yield, and today Treasury yield rates went up just a little bit. It's kind of popping up there. And this is on a 6-month chart, so this is the highest they were. So generally speaking, as these rates go up, the stock market tends to go down. Speaking of the stock market, let's take a look. S&P 500 on the Pro 2. Still looking at the same thing, that weekly stochastic's been going down, money flowing out. The gap between these two lines, though, is starting to tighten it up a little bit. Then we're getting below this 32% line. So we want to be cautiously watching things. We had a little rally, right, for a couple days, but we're ending the week with not so much of a rally. In fact, look at all that weak volume. During this whole rally, this is Thursday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Monday, this whole week, it's been an up week, but for the S&P 500 itself, couldn't even reach its average daily volume. So if you kind of just take a glance here really quickly, you see a lot more red than you do green. So it looks like the steam on this rally might be petering out for a moment, although we're still hanging out above this support level and probably hitting this resistance range right there. Technology sector, which is one component, a fairly large component of the S&P 500. We see that the same look over here on the Pro 2 chart. Weekly stochastic kind of starting to tighten up just a little bit, but it still has a long way to go to be completely tight, to potentially do this crossover, right? Because look how far that's been apart. Money just been flowing out of that. And our candle today, same thing, got up here to this 25-day moving average, and selling just brought it off. So you can see yesterday we closed here, and today we closed here, dropped down just a little bit, but basically just gone sideways for 3 days with some movement in between. If the volume ever pops up, thank you very much, volume. We got some selling volume coming in, but look at that, all this buying volume. More sellers than buyers for the last 2 weeks. And healthcare. Not quite the similar picture on that weekly stochastic. It was kind of doing the sideways motion for a while, started decisively dropping down, now tightening up just a little bit. Money's been flowing out. You see we got a big candle, right? Yesterday closed significantly above that 25-day moving average, but some selling pressure just drove that down, and we're in here in the support area, catching support. Again, if this volume bar is ever going to propagate, maybe we would see some red volume. Maybe, I mean, there it goes. And so we had a significant amount of buying in here. It's kind of almost equal of buying and selling. I guess it's a little debatable, and we could debate that until the cows come home, chickens come home to roost, whatever you want to say. We're not going to debate it. You can debate it in the comments if you feel like it. Probably won't answer. I don't really feel like debating that, because I'm going to look at this. This is consumer discretionary. Okay, stochastic. Widened up a little bit, right? Started, maybe it's pulling in. Who knows? It seemed like a pretty wide gap going down. Money's flowing out. But we see we're here, stuck in this little range area. You see it's been in there before. And we will see if the volume ever propagates on this one. What a slow motion at the moment. But we got this really little tiny candle just getting caught in this slow momentum range right here. And basically, price has just been going sideways for almost 2 weeks now here in consumer discretionary. Ooh, we got an uptick in that volume of selling, though. The financial sector. The financial sector was a bit of a down day, and kind of just going sideways, right? It was going sideways pretty much all last week, or maybe a little bit longer than that, and bumped up here, had a little gap up, but now it's going sideways under this 25-day moving average and this 50-day moving average. So it's putting some weight on it. And the last couple days, though, we've had some decent volume of buying, with 2 of those days not even meeting the average, whatever the average is. We see this got this kind of this rinky-dink candle here that almost looking doji-ish, but it's weighted more towards the downside, and maybe it's going to get stuck down here. to see how tomorrow closes out. Real estate, even though it doesn't have a whole lot of weight on the S&P 500, we're going to look at it anyways, and we just see this continued downward motion on that weekly stochastic. Money has been flowing out. We had quite a bit of a sell-off today, basically lost all these gains. Took 3 days of gains here, wiped out in 2 days, and really right back here. 1, 2, 3, 4. In 2 days, wiped out 4 days of progress. This one day being a down day 2. So looking, got a little bit of support here, and looking bearish. IWM. Wow. Just looking at that similar picture on the Pro 2. That weekly stochastic, really gapping, starting to slowly start closing up, but it's just been in this downward trend for a long time. Money flowing out. We got some, last couple days have been weak on the selling volume with buying volume, with one day of meeting its average volume. Today, selling volume but weak, it's like some weak slowing momentum. Similar picture. It's like just like a lot of those other stocks, above this little range, but stuck here now on this range. Maybe if the plunge protection team or some sort of help keep the market propped up entity comes in, that could be helpful, but otherwise it's not looking bullish at all. Qs, same thing. Money's been flowing out. That weekly stochastic, big old gaping line there between these two lines, starting to tighten up just a little bit, and just some weak volume on the buying volume for the last couple days. Even though kind of bounced up, similar thing. It's above this lower range now. It's kind of in this one range up, but it's still under all these moving averages. And maybe if our volume bar for today wants to load, we can take a look at that. But if it doesn't want to load, then I might just be looking at something else before it loads. I'm trying to buy a time, but it's just not working. Well, my guess is that it would be right here. Oh, look at that. My guess was perfect. Okay, so about the same amount of volume of yesterday, but sellers took over today. So just showing this weak rally, and the dollar via UUP. Stochastic still over this 80% line, and you see with it can just hang out. It can hang out up here for a long time. All right, dip down a little bit and it can just keep hanging out. Money's still flowing in, and even though it dipped down, and this is what it's been doing, right? It dipped down around this 25-day moving average, got around to the 50-day. Money pushed it up. When it gets down to that 25-day, money pushed it up, got to this 25-day. Even though it's been closing lower than it's been opening, interestingly enough, way more selling than buying, but it's just weak selling. Maybe there's just not enough volume to be pushing that down. Markets are exciting in oil. I know you're excited about oil. I'm excited about oil. We're hitting this range, which was kind of to be expected, because you can see all this, just basically the sideways range right here. If you were so inclined and you had an account big enough, or you had a nice paper trading account, now you could practice selling some iron condors on the futures, which I personally would not be doing. Anytime I was selling options on these WTI oil futures, I just stuck with some straight up naked calls and puts. And most of the time it worked out, but sometimes it didn't, and it was a stinger. So we're just stuck here in this little range, and but these low prices, right? If someone would have loaded up on the long position, they'd be pretty darn profitable. So yeah, maybe we'll kind of stay stuck in there. But you know, going back as far as was it 19 2019. I don't know if it was 2019, definitely 2020. People like Eric Townsend, at one time Art Berman, see Peter Schiff. There's been a variety of people. Those are the names that are coming to my mind overall that have just been calling for higher oil prices. And we've seen a big run up in oil all right in here, and it's pulling back. We'll switch this to a weekly chart, tighten these candles up a little bit. So I mean, it's really been in a bull market, and even though it's had this sell-off, you know, it's had a massive run-up. We're not down here. We're not down here to these $65 prices. We're closer to 100 than 65. So if it continues to build a base in here in the high 80s, low 90s, then we're probably going to see it testing this 110. When exactly, I don't know, because there's other things that go on in these markets. There's other things like the president's working group on the financial markets, aka the plunge protection team. There's these shenanigans that go on because one thing, we got these midterm elections coming up, so it behooves certain people to have lower oil prices, so that might put, you know, some things together to put some lower oil prices. But I think overall, next 5 or 10 years, I don't know. I'm confident on higher oil prices. I'm putting my money into that bet by acquiring some stock in some certain oil mining stocks or oil producing stocks. But that is another story. Gold is the story that we're talking about right now. So we're going to switch it back to, let's put it on this 3-month chart, and we see gold stuck in this range, right? You look to the left, you see it right in there. Some selling volume kind of slowing down. We got the slowing momentum. But what do we see? We got a high, lower high. It's kind of like a higher high. We got low, lower low, lower low, lower low. Now it's maybe kind of creeping up. I think it might kind of stay in this range for a little while. Me personally, I do not trade the dollar exchange ratio, the gold to dollar exchange ratio. I don't trade it. I'll trade some mining stocks, so I guess indirectly I'm trading it, and some of those. But overall, I do a different type of position on the metal. Bitcoin, man, okay, broke below that 20,000. Where are we? We're just below it. But you know, 50-day moving average, not maintaining it. Couldn't stay above that 50-day moving average. We're below it. We'll see what's going to happen. Sold off. It's just basically been going sideways, right? Look at that. Sideways. Quite a while. Going back here to August. Yeah, up and down, up and down, up and down, but the net result is here it was, and sometime in August, here it is, same price. It got as high as this, as low as this, and because it just like doesn't maintain these higher prices and it keeps floating and flirting back with these lower prices, oh, maybe it's going to stay in this range for a long time. But this whole idea, if you hear people coming on YouTube and saying Bitcoin's going to 100,000 by Thursday or something, like, I'm guessing that those people are just straight up lying for some agenda. Because I would have a hard time believing that they could be that dumb. It's my opinion. Maybe they could be that dumb. I don't know, but I don't think so. I don't know what agenda they would have to make up something so crazy, but if Bitcoin is just unable to continue, if Bitcoin is unable to like get over and maintain over 22,000, its most recent like high over there, then how's it going to 100,000? So when you hear these quackpots or whatever, I don't know, you tell me what you want me to call them. When you hear these people saying the stuff that's just like, I don't know, maybe they're talking their book, maybe they got a big position in Bitcoin and they're trying to come up with some story to get people to buy it. But when you're looking at the charts, I don't see how it's going to 100,000 in the next 2 minutes. What do you see? You see 100,000 in the next 2 minutes? That's what I should do. I should go on Kitco and say that Bitcoin is going to 100,000 in 50 seconds. Set your timer right now. Set the timer. Count down. Count down. We get to 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. It doesn't go anywhere. Then I'll come up with, you know, something new. Sometimes that's what I feel like these people are doing. Well, hey, if you like that kind of stuff, you have fun watching it. Now here's our line chart of S&P 500 going back to the max that Yahoo Finance will load for us. And we see these really bad trend lines that I drew here, just to give us a basic idea. And this little ball, that is where the S&P 500 is. And so if this rally continues, what we want to see is we want to see it get up here to this trend line, and we want to see it not only break above it, but it's got to stay above that trend line. It's got to really break that trend and continue to close above that. Now we can kind of go sideways and build a base, but it definitely has to break that. It can't break it and then fail. If it does, so if we see it break this trend line and basically, and then sort of continue to stay around the 400 range, let's say 400, you know, and it starts creating a base around 400, and then potentially we could see it, you know, build a base to maybe test that 4, getting to be like the high 420s, low 430s or something like that. But if it doesn't, if it gets up here and it pulls one of these, like it did here, like it did here, like it did here, like it did right there, like it did right there, if it does one of those, then it's probably going, then it's going to be testing this. At some point, I think that might happen, and it could test some pretty low areas. But that's neither here nor there. All we're waiting for right now is to see, can it break out of this channel? Can it get out of that? And by looking at this stuff right here, it's not looking too promising. I think we need to see some more. If it's going to do that, it's going to take a long time, because this is weak. This is, right, that's looking weak. It's got some major stuff. All right, have to get up past this 25-day moving average, this 50-day moving average, and it's got all like this, all that resistance it's got to go through. So the two things you can do, of course, paper trade. Get your paper trade on. Start paper trading. Go crazy with the paper trading. Just throw on paper trades. You have nothing to lose. In fact, when it comes to paper trading, what you have to lose is time, education, experience, and progress. If you're not paper trading, you're losing those things. You might as well be paper trading, unless you're already a master of these markets. And then quite honestly, I don't know why you'd be watching this. I have no idea. I'm assuming that you're watching this because you have less experience than I do. Why would you watch this if you have more experience than me? So, paper trade. Go crazy with it. If you start doing some analysis of paralysis, just put the trade on. You cannot lose any money. That's what you need to be doing. You need to be testing things and see what happens. Trading is like swimming in the water. Right? There's different currents. Just because you can swim at one place Doesn't mean you can, it means you can swim everywhere, but every place has a little different dynamic. Some places are deeper. Some places have different currents. Sometimes it's a river. Sometimes it's, you know, whatever the case may be. There's all these differences. So you want to learn the fundamentals of swimming, and so that way you can go into different things. And right now, learn the fundamentals, and right now the current is down. So learn what you can do in a down market. If something seems to be going sideways, put an iron condor on. See what happens. If you don't know what an iron condor is, put it on anyways and see what happens. Just paper trade. You're going to learn a lot. And, of course, go to your good buddy Brent's website. Go to ihavesuccess.com. Download some free stuff. I send you, not only do I send you these YouTube videos, but I send you some extra stuff. And I'm going to keep developing more and more extra stuff to send you. So with that, you guys have a fantastic day. And if you're bold enough, introduce yourself in the comments, say hi, and let's start getting to know each other. Aloha.